was driving past Burger King on the way. And I was looking at the sign, and I was like, Willion Whopper. I was like, $1 million Whopper. And then I got closer, and I was like, million. I was like, what's a million? And I was like,
You're lying.
oh,
You're lying. There's no way.
$1 million Whopper.
Willion dollar. What is that?
Well, the sun was in my eyes, to be fair, for the first thought, the initial thought. And then as I got closer and the sun was no longer in my eyes, I was like, million. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm actually losing brain cells as the days go on. I was like, oh my God.
Aren't we all just losing brain cells every day?
I never thought in a million years I would be like, million? I feel like the type of person you make TikToks about. That's going to be an audio one of these days.
All right. Remember what we're talking about today?
Isn't it movies?
Movies.
Are we doing other topics other than movies?
I
Like
think
bands,
we're just
music?
talking about movies. We probably could talk about music as well, but...
Oh, you actually have a list? Oh.
So...
I'm freeballing this.
Like... well, because I was sitting there and I'm like, what are my favorite movies? And I was like, I have no idea. Like, every movie that I ever watched, gone. Out of my head.
That's
and it was like, I know there's movies out there. So, like, I have been making this list for a while, but I went through, I'm, like, scrolling through, like, my Vudu where I have bought all of my movies. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's one of the ones that I want. And that's all of them. I didn't include any of, like, the Marvel movies because there's a lot of those. And I feel
we
like...
can briefly discuss those.
Well, there's a couple in here.
That are, like, your
like,
favorites.
I put Spider-Man, but, like, that's really...
Spider-Man. My number one favorite movie is Labyrinth with David Bowie.
I've never seen that.
That is my all-time favorite movie.
That's an old one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's from 86.
Well, welcome back to the Blonde Chronicles. We are discussing our favorite movies today. How the heck do I how to spell Labyrinth?
It's spelled like the weird way. It's like L-A-B.
Isn't there like a Y in there?
R-Y-N-T-H.
Ah, there it is.
It's not like the regular spelling.
Labyrinth. 1986.
See? Yeah. That is like my all-time favorite
I've never
movie.
seen it.
It is
75% of Rotten Tomatoes.
So good. And you get, like, because it's, like, David Bowie also sings in it, so you also get a great movie as well as David Bowie serenading you.
Directed by Jim Henson and George Lucas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the question. Are you a movie person or, like, a TV show person?
Neither. I have the attention span of a goldfish.
That's fair.
But, like, there are, like, things that, like, once I've watched them, they're, like, my comfort things. So this is one of my comfort movies. So I watch this. If I want to go to sleep.
You put a...
Yeah, because this makes me feel so safe, comfortable. David Bowie singing to me, dancing.
I can't have anything on when I'm sleeping. Like, if I'm going to sleep... Like, if I'm aiming to fall asleep, I can't. But, like, if I'm watching something and I happen to doze off, it's different. But I can't, like, oh, it's time to go to bed. Let's put on, a movie because then I'll sit there and I'm like, oh. Because, like, if I know I'm wanting to go to bed and I put a movie on, I will sit there and watch the entire thing. And it's just, like, 2 hours later, I'm like, I was supposed to go to bed 2 hours ago.
This movie also has a banging playlist. It is absolutely amazing.
Plot. I don't want to get spoiled with this movie because I genuinely have never seen anything about this movie.
So basically, it
sell me this movie.
It starts with a girl named Sarah, and she's reading from, it's like a little book from the Labyrinth. She acts it out, and she goes home, and it's her dad and her stepmom, and she kind of like does like that whole like life is unfair, like she does that whole thing.
Dang.
And like. It's the 80s, of course. You got to have a little bit of dramatic flair. So they are going out on a date night, and she was like, this is so unfair. Like, every weekend, I have to come home and watch my baby brother. And, like, this girl's, like, 16. And this is, like, a baby. This is a 1-year-old. So, like, there's a 15-year age gap between her and this baby. And she's stuck at home on a weekend watching this kid. So she storms up to her room. The dad is like, oh, come on out. And she's like, oh, no. So then he leaves, and she's like, oh, my God. This man really just left. He really went on date night. So then her baby brother, his name's Toby, he's crying. And she's like, oh, come on, Toby. Like, quiet down. Like, it's okay. And it gets to the part where she's like, man. And in the play. I don't know if it's like necessarily a play or if it's an actual book. It involves goblins, and she's like, man, I really wish the goblins would come and take you. And so then she says it correctly.
Wow.
And here comes, like, the baby's gone. She's seeing a bunch of, like, little goblins running around, and up pops David Bowie as the Goblin King, Jareth.
There we go. The Goblin King. All right.
Jareth. So he's like, hey, I took your baby brother. And she's like, give him back?
So now she wants him.
So she's like, I didn't really mean it like that. So then...
It was a joke.
So then he's like, okay, I'll give you a couple hours, like 16 hours, to come get your baby brother back. But you got to go through my labyrinth. And she's like, okay, I can totally do this. So then he's like, all right, cool, sets a clock, and he disappears. So then the whole plot of the movie is, like, her going through this labyrinth to go get him. And then at, like, one point, you run into another main character. His name's Hoggle. And she's like, and he, like, helps her along the way. And she's like, oh, this is easy. This is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Couldn't be easier. So he's like, all right, bet. Takes a couple hours from her. And she's like, this is so unfair. And he's like, well, you seem to say that a lot. So then you follow her go on throughout the maze, and then...
Hold on. Apparently it's going to be in theaters on March 6th.
Yeah.
At our theater. Hear me out.
I'm going to see it.
Hear me out. I'll wait to watch it until that, and I'll go watch it when it comes into theaters.
Yeah, I think it's...
It's only March 6th.
I think it's the 10th, too. I think it's the 6th and the 10th.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to go see it in the theaters.
Listen, if you go, I'll go. That'll be my first experience this movie.
Oh, I'm 100% going. I love that movie.
We'll mark that down. Is that your number one?
That is my number one all-time favorite movie.
Oh, The Dark
playlist.
Crystal.
That is also,
I've seen that one.
That is also another one of my favorites.
I had that one on a VHS.
I have a shirt of Dark Crystal. I have a Labyrinth shirt, too. I have both shirts.
I don't know. Like, going through and, like, trying to think of a movie, like, I genuinely don't have, like, one favorite. Like, the question I ask you, the movie or TV show person, I'm 100% like a movie person over a TV show person. Like,
it depends.
I just, don't get me wrong, like, there's TV shows that I like, but I struggle with the commitment aspect of a TV show, because, like, oh, I'll find a show that I like, and it's like, oh yeah, it has 6 seasons of stuff to watch. Every season has 30 episodes, and they're 45 minutes apiece, and I'm like, that always draws me away from it a little bit, because I'm like, oh, that's so much time that I have to invest into this show.
Season or shows make me sad, because like you go through like 6 seasons and then it comes to the end, and like most of the time they're like discontinued, and it's not like you get a genuine finale. So then it makes me so sad that I've spent like 6 seasons worth of time.
Yeah. The shows that get canceled or discontinued before they get an actual goodbye are like the worst. But like, there's been countless shows that I've watched. It's like, oh yeah, when's the next season? Oh, and you look up when the next one comes, like, oh, it was canceled after that season.
Yeah. And
I'm like, but there's still, there was one show, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called My Name is Earl.
Yeah, I actually watched all of that.
I love that show.
It's a good one.
That was one of the shows that got canceled before the next season, and the next season would have resolved a bunch of stuff, because like I think it was like 4 seasons, and I think the 4th season left off on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and they just like completely canceled. So it was just like it's such a bummer. But like I said, I struggle with that commitment aspect, because I know most shows you have to watch a couple episodes to get the basis of it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, but there's been shows that I didn't like, but I've watched 4 episodes of the show, and I didn't like it. But like now I'm like,
that's how I was with Squid Game.
But I already watched 4 episodes, so now I feel obligated to watch the rest of it, because and it's such, so like that's why I'm very picky with shows as well. That like I won't watch a show like if I just pick a random show. Like if someone says, "Hey, watch this show," then like I'll give it, like someone that I can trust to be like, "Hey, watch this TV show, it's good." I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
My favorite TV show is a cartoon, but it's Wander Over Yonder. And speaking,
oh wait, hold on. I think go ahead.
And speaking on like the matter of it ending, so it had 1 full season, and then season 2, it kind of breaks the 4th wall, and they're told, "Hey, this is your last season. You can't do any more seasons after this." So it keeps making jokes, and it keeps going, "Oh yeah, because this is the last season. We'll see you," and it keeps like.
Oh my. Okay, that's a newer show too. I've never. Well, newer, 2013, 2016. It was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
It had like the guy who voices Wander. He's like really famous.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen this guy.
He's really famous, and
he was freaking Fix It Felix.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like he's obviously done a lot of voice acting, and it like Wander Yonder is like a filler. So like if a like episode for some reason was like an hour and 15 minutes, that would play like the other 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it would do like the filler between a lot of like cartoon. I think it was
the
Cartoon
voice
Network.
of SpongeBob was in there as well.
Yeah, like I don't know, who does he voice?
He was Commander.
Is he Commander Peepers?
Let me see. I'm trying to find out where it was. I think it is Commander Peepers because it would say Commander P.
I think it's Commander
So
Peepers.
I'm assuming it was Commander Peepers.
So there's another character in the show. His name's Lord Hater. The number one hater in all the universe. I'm getting a tattoo of Lord Hater because I've never felt something more relatable. Number one hater in all
Lord
the universe.
Hater. Yeah, I think it is Commander Peeper. It's not giving me an answer here.
Burps.
But yeah, like, so shows are difficult for me to get into. Like, my favorite show is How I Met Your Mother. That
one. The ending of that show.
So, which is another one of those shows, which is a very controversial ending.
I hate the ending of that show.
I'm not a fan of the ending. I know there was like a lot of people aren't. But the show in general, like I love. Like I have seen that show, I think 15 times. That is my comfort show. That is your like, if you put on a movie to watch in the background for Labyrinth, that is what that show is.
I love that show. I hate the ending though.
Yeah, like that was one of my favorites. I grew up watching that. Like that was like, that's like above The Office for me. Everybody loves The Office. I like that too, but that will like, if anybody ever asks, oh, what's a show to watch? I will say, if you haven't seen this, that's like How I Met Your Mother is like really good.
I don't understand why they couldn't just let him like be off and alone, because like and it also implies that like, oh yeah, I loved your mother, but I also
love your Aunt Robin.
Also Robin, hands down, my wife died a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Robin,
I don't know. It's unfortunate because it was such a good show, and they kind of like nobody like. I don't think there's really many people that like the ending.
No, I don't know anyone that does.
But
it's a cop out, I feel like.
But yeah, like that has 9 seasons, I think, and I've watched all 9 seasons of that show multiple times, and it's really good. I love it. But that's like, I would much rather, when it comes to new stuff, like I will pick a 2-hour movie, watch it, and know that after that I'm done. Yeah, there's no other unless you're watching like a movie that has sequels. But like a lot of times, like I can watch that movie and I'm done. Like that's my commitment's over and I can go about my day. Like TV shows is just such a hard thing for me to get into because there's like especially like shows that like I would never, like shows these days aren't good anyways. You said Squid Game.
I didn't like Squid Games. Like I feel like that one's a bit controversial. I really did not like Squid Games. That one kind of, like the hype that was associated with it, I was kind of very...
They're making a season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2 comes out, I think, this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it, but it was like the only thing that just kept me from like getting super attached was the fact that it wasn't in English. And that
doesn't bother me.
I can't watch subtitled stuff.
I can.
So like I don't understand how people watch like Netflix or like watch TV shows with subtitles on. I can't. Because I'll sit there and I'm like
I'm the type of person, I will put headphones in, listen to music, and then watch a TV show with the subtitles on.
You're lying.
I do it. I do this frequently. Like, I will just lay on my couch with my headphones in while listening to music, because, like, I feel like listening to music over top of the talking, that's too much. But, like, if I have my headphones in...
No talking, just the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I can do that.
I mean, I get it. I think I'd be able to do that with like a show that I've seen before, but something new, I don't think I would.
Have you ever seen Pan's Labyrinth?
No.
This is also an older movie. It's I think it's in Spanish.
Another labyrinth.
Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth. This is kind of like almost like a cult classic in a way. I think it's in Spanish.
Yeah, by Guillermo del Toro.
Or some dialect.
I feel like I have seen this.
It's not in English, and
okay, so I definitely have not seen it. Then if it's in Spanish, I have not seen it.
And I don't think they do like a dub or sub. I don't think they do a.
So yeah, because I watched Squid Game dubbed.
I don't think they do this in English.
That also bugged me too.
I don't think they do this movie in English at all, and it's honestly a really great movie.
Subtitles for its translation to other languages. Oh, so they have subtitles, but it's not dubbed. And Del Toro, the director, wrote the subtitles himself.
Yeah, I've never ever seen this movie like dubbed whatsoever, and it's a phenomenal movie. It's just if you're not really big into subtitles, like
I can't like.
And this is such a great movie. Like consider like I know you don't like it, but like that is definitely one of the movies I would.
I might. I mean, I can give it. I'm open to really anything. Well, like subtitles. When I went to see, I think it was Scream 6. They had.
Did we see that one together?
That was 5.
Oh, we saw 5.
It was the one after that. And it was a fan event. So you went early, you got a special showing. I got like a poster from it.
Oh, okay.
I got like a collectible cup. But it was in 3D, first of all, which kind of throws me off. I'm not a big fan of 3D movies. But so like I was okay with that, but it had subtitles. Like in the theater. I have never seen this before in my life. But the entire movie had subtitles, and it drove me nuts because
it's probably for hard of hearing.
Yeah, and I get that. And like 100%. But like it was just something, there was no like, we didn't know that was going to be what's happening. Like if I would have known that it would have had subtitles, I probably wouldn't have gone. But like
cool stuff out of it though.
Yeah, I got a poster and everything cool, but it was like, so I sat there and I've caught myself constantly reading the subtitles, and I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm missing the movie. So like I had to sit there and like unfocused but focused, and it was very difficult for me. So I ended up watching it again like once it came out, so I can like, did I miss anything when I watched this movie? Because it was good. I enjoyed it. It's just the subtitles kind of took me out a little bit. Like it's just, I don't know. It's a weird, I know some people can do it. That's how they only will watch things. I
prefer it that way.
I mean, to each their own, I guess. But so do you have like a top 5 movies?
Definitely Labyrinth, like regular Labyrinth with David Bowie is my all-time favorite. I do like Bram Stoker's Dracula. That is also another.
I've never seen that.
It's a cult classic.
I feel like you're gonna name.
Like
I feel like you're gonna name a
classic.
bunch of movies that I've never seen. I'm
Probably.
like,
I definitely like Bram Stoker's Dracula. Phantom of the Opera, like the 2005 one with
I've not seen that, but I love the music from that.
Emma something or another. She played in that show with the Gallaghers.
The Gallaghers?
Yeah, I forget the name of that show. Shameless?
Oh, I never watched that.
She played. I didn't
I never.
either.
The only thing I know about that show is through TikTok. So.
Yeah. Well, like the main character Fiona, she's the girl who sings for
Emma something.
Yeah, I don't know her last
Emma
name.
R. I don't know. I can't remember what her.
Yeah, she
Rosman
sings,
or something like that.
Yeah, she sings for in the movie.
Oh, okay.
With Gerard Butler. I think he's the Phantom.
I think that is too. I've never seen
Butler.
it. I know Robert likes that movie.
Great movie. I also like King Kong with Jack Black. That's also.
Oh my gosh, that is that's not even on. That's not on my list, but I'm adding that.
That is one of my all-time.
I think
favorite
that was
movies.
2005 when that came out.
Yeah.
Because
around there.
Yeah. So what you said, Labyrinth,
Yes.
Dracula. Not Shracula, Dracula.
Dracula.
What was the third one you just said?
Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, Phantom of the Opera, King Kong.
There's so many. I like so many movies.
Yeah, that was where
so many movies
that was
as
my
well.
difficult part. Was like listen, like even making a top 5. I just have a list because I know there's no possible way for me to rank. Like
it's hard to like after that because like after that it's like there's so many movies I love. Like I love Jeepers Creepers, both the first and the second.
I've never seen this either.
I don't like the other ones after the second one. I feel like they're kind of like it's too like it mainstream. I feel like in a way, like it's not as like.
They try to capitalize on the fact
Yeah.
that it was a horror movie that everybody liked, and they're like, "Oh, make another one."
Yeah,
Halloween, Five Nights at Freddy's. No, that's
I
not what I meant. I meant Nightmare on Elm Street, not Five Nights at Freddy's.
I have to say, for what
I have not seen it yet, so don't say anything.
for what the FNAF movie was, I definitely liked it. It was not my all-time favorite movie.
Yeah.
And after I found out that it was based on like those little books, I never read the FNAF books.
Okay.
So I did not like. I didn't find that out. I was kind of like just confused. I was like, where did this girl come from? I was like obviously I know William Afton and I know the animatronics, and then after that I was kind of like, and like for what it was. And they obviously had to make a PG-13 because it's a kids movie.
That was a little bit of a bummer for me. Like, not gonna lie.
And I obviously love the girl that played, like the girl police officer. I love her character because she plays in You as Gwen.
I agree.
Beck.
Elizabeth Leo.
Yeah, I love her. I think I think she's a great actress. And she's been in a lot of things. Like I think she plays Anna in Grimm or not Grimm. I forget what show
Once
that
Upon a
is.
Time.
Yeah, that show. She plays Anna in
That's
Once
a show
Upon a
that
Time.
I started watching a long time ago, and I never actually finished.
I didn't finish it either because like after a while it started to get a little. I watched up until her part and then I was like, this isn't. It started like getting a little wonky donkey there, but
I don't want to spoil myself. I still want to watch Five Nights at Freddy's. I just haven't like actually been like, I'm gonna sit down and watch it.
there was a lot of people dressed up.
At the movie?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I don't think I would have been able to handle that.
obviously it wasn't like in a bigger city where like people were going in full on like cosplay, like because there were people that were dressed up as Springlock in giant costumes and they went to the movie theaters.
I've seen others. I wouldn't have expected that from like our theater, but going to it was one of the Star Wars movies.
That I'm not sure.
We went to, it was like opening night, first showing, and there was so many people dressed up, and it was really cool because like, but you wouldn't expect that from a small like little theater, like little theater, just little town, I guess is the meaning of like what I'm trying to say, but yeah, that's still on my list.
But like I like the movie. A lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't gory enough, and like I also agree with that. But like for what it was, and like obviously they have to capitalize on it because they're more gearing towards a younger generation.
Yeah.
But like the younger generation didn't grow up with FNAF, I feel like, because like obviously a lot of us grew up with it when it first came out. When
Grew up
we
with
were,
the actual like
the games whenever we were like 8-ish area, like while we were like in our like
when did that? Hold on,
the first game. I think it was around that time, or maybe it was like later.
I don't think it was that long. 9 years.
It was 9 years ago.
August 8th, 2014 was when the first Five Nights at Freddy's game came out.
Yeah,
so what?
That's not too far off.
I would have been.
13.
You're how many years younger than me? Because I don't know the math.
Like 3 almost. Or it's 3. Because
You were 13.
Or 2. I'm 2 years.
Okay, so I would have been 15 when it came out. That's
2 years.
insane.
2 years, not 3.
That's insane.
But yeah, so like obviously a lot of us were like teenagers around that point, if not younger.
Yeah.
So like a lot of us grew up with this, and it's been like 10 years almost since it came out.
It's been 10 years, but there's still like it's such a popular thing.
And I feel like the children are more geared towards the book, and obviously they were they based it off of the book. A lot of
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
That's what I was told. You can fact check me on that. But
I don't know. We'll look it up here.
But like that's what I was told, and that's what I think what TikTok also said. It was based more on the books, and like the same thing with like that Willy Wonka movie with Timothée Chalamet or Timothée.
Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet.
Chalamet. Yes. So
It was based on
Chris
the book?
Columbus was announced as Keenan's replacement director and writer, besides producing the film alongside Blum Cawthorn. Cawthorn revealed that the first draft of the film script, which he wrote with the co-author of the novel trilogy.
Okay, so yeah, it's based.
So
on
it
the
was
book.
based off of that, but it would involve the events of the first game.
I thought it was like the second one.
I don't know. Well, I know that they're doing a second and a third.
But I thought like the first movie didn't take place in the first
Five Nights
because it was the bite of '87 that happened.
Don't spoil it for me. Gosh.
Well, the bite of '87 happened in the movie. That's all I'm gonna
Does
say.
it really? Okay. Do they specify that it's the?
They make a joke about it, I think, or like at least some kid in the movie theater went, "Look, it's the bite of '87." And I was like, Chad, I tell you,
Is that the bite of '87?
when I tell
Sorry,
you,
Markiplier.
I almost turned into a Karen in that moment. Like I was so outraged. I was like, I don't want to hear your little, like, I'd rather be hearing some lip smacking behind me than some little kid going, "It's way you acting to go hot, Josh Hutcherson is." Shut up.
So I know that they are making
They
at
confirmed
least. I
2
know
and
they're
3.
at least making 2 and 3, which is really cool. I just need to sit down and watch the first one. I might do
have
that tonight.
plenty of time.
I do. I have so much time. I just don't like actually.
Because
do
like
it.
these movies probably aren't going to come out because like I don't think it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
'Cause they
I
just
bought
finished.
the movie. Like I bought the physical like copy of it. I just haven't. It's sitting on my shelf. I know it's
See-
free on Peacock, and I'm like,
I like the movie, but I'm not sure if I would purchase it.
I am a hardcore physical collector type of thing. Like I buy movies just to have on the shelf. I love that.
The movies that I genuinely enjoy, I'm that way because Sagan has been like, because like I wanted to buy the physical copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and he was like, you can literally buy it online, and I was like,
Did you buy it?
It was nowhere in any store, so I was very mad, and it was supposed to be at Walmart, but it wasn't. And when I tell you I searched through every single movie, I searched through everything.
You can't trust Walmart, dude.
Yeah, like the little app that I have lied to me. I was thoroughly offended. Actually, my 5th movie will definitely between the movie Legend that has he plays the guy who plays It. The original It. What's his name?
Tim Curry.
Yeah, him. Has Tim Curry. Really great movie. All my movies are older.
Is it this one?
Yes. And then another really great one. This movie's from like the 70s. It's Fearless Vampire Killers, but they like renamed it. It's like one of those movies that they renamed. Mm-hmm. So that one, like the real name of it's also kind of like, because you gotta like search through different things because they call it different things. Same thing with a movie called Naked Space. They called it something else.
What are these movies that you are rambling out at me right now?
These are very niche movies. Well, this one had
Tom Cruise.
Yes, it has young Tom Cruise when his teeth still weren't fixed. So he still had this was before. I don't know if he has veneers or what happened.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
this is an.
I guess his teeth aren't that bad. It's just a little funky looking.
But like everyone in Hollywood has to have the straight teeth veneer look.
You ever seen Will Ferrell's teeth?
I don't know if I have like a visual. Like I don't know if I really. I don't think I ever like really stared at Will Ferrell's teeth that much to be like, oh yeah, Will Ferrell. But like people made it such a big deal about like Tom Cruise's teeth.
Yeah, see his teeth are.
Oh, his bottom teeth.
Extremely crooked on the bottom. I don't know.
But he's an older actor. Like they don't really care too much about their teeth.
Tom Cruise teeth.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. Like look how straight his teeth are now. People are like,
oh wow, yeah.
Where he plays in Grease.
Okay.
I think it's Grease.
That's not Grease. That's
You sure? I thought he played in Grease.
No,
or not Grease. The Outsiders.
Yeah, The Outsiders. Sorry. That's what it was. I say it's not Grease. Grease is on my list of favorite movies. Whether that's
right.
My stepdad used to like fix computers, and one of our friends was fixing it, and she had the movie Grease in like the DVD player, and we had taken it out.
That's the only way they can watch on that DVD player.
So like they had taken it out, and I had never seen it. So my mom was like, "You have to watch this movie just to watch it." And I love it.
It is a cult classic.
I genuinely enjoyed it. It's one of those things that I enjoyed musicals, and I think that's the movie that started it. If I'm being completely honest, because I'm pretty sure that was the first one that I watched. But I watched this, and she had said just to keep it, so we kept the movie. And I watched this movie so much. I was like 11, 10 years old, so like I didn't really have a lot. We didn't have a lot of movies growing up, anyways.
Yeah.
So like it was one of the few that I had that I really liked. I watched it so much the disc stopped working. Because it was just constantly playing, because I would just put it on in the background or anything. I loved it. I genuinely, I said, that is on my list. And I was like, I don't know. I think that was what started I guess musicals aren't too bad. And growing up, I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm not too much, like, I don't know why. Like, I am not too much of a musical person. Like, I love Phantom of the Opera, but, like, I love their voices. And I feel like a lot of, like, other musicals, they do that, like nasally high. Yeah. Especially with, like, the female like lead singers, they definitely do like that. And I was like, I don't. Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what other like
I want to like.
We were literally just talking about this at work today because we talked about Wonka, how that was a musical.
That movie made a lot of people mad because no one knew it was a musical. Yeah. And we've talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about the last one.
Yeah, and same with Joker too. Like, and I feel like a lot of people and like because Lady Gaga's in it, obviously. It's going to be a banger because she's...
it's going to be certified
and
banger.
Joaquin Phoenix, from what I've heard, also has a really great voice as well.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And if anything, they're going to find someone, if like he doesn't want to sing for it for whatever reason, they'll find someone who has the same...
There's no way. 100%. Knowing Joaquin Phoenix, he's... Like Joker is... Well, Joker's third on my list, but that's just me listing off my movies.
The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix is also... one of my favorite movies as well.
It's so good.
And like it's so hard because like and a lot of people also don't like that movie for whatever reason. And I think it's because it's not too much on the villainy aspect.
I think people that I know didn't like it because it was like, oh, it wasn't.
And it doesn't follow the comic.
It wasn't a Batman story. It wasn't this. Like it stands alone on its own type of thing. Like you don't have to know about Batman to watch this movie because it really doesn't lead too much into that. Like
you do meet
you're in Gotham.
Bruce, you do meet Bruce Wayne.
You do
as a child.
I think you meet Bruce Wayne as a child. You meet like his parents,
very vaguely for like.
But like, yeah,
5
it's
seconds.
very much. I guarantee you, they probably put it in there just to be like.
It might
to
be
establish that they are in Gotham.
It might be like a foreshadowing thing, though.
Yeah, who's to say that Joker 2 they might
like
capitalize on that being a thing?
Because obviously Joker 2, Lady Gaga is
Harley Quinn.
So, and I feel like a lot of people are mad like it doesn't follow the comic books as well.
Yeah.
And like you obviously don't see him.
Batman in it. You can't have the Joker without Batman.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. People also is one of those things that the Robert Pattinson Batman.
I didn't watch that one.
That one is really good. It's like 3 hours long. I remember I literally had to watch it in 2 sessions because I got through and I was like, oh, like an hour and a half, hour 45. I'm like, oh, it's almost over. Had an hour and 30 minutes left. And I was like, I'll watch this the rest of us another day. It was really good. I did enjoy it. But people were like, oh, what if like that one and the Joker are like in the same universe? I'm pretty sure they have said that they're separate, completely separate, and they're not going to be anything. But people are like, oh, what if they're, in the same universe? But
Joker's also a very long movie. I think that one's like 2.5 hours, 2 hours.
Joker, I mean, I think at this point with movies, I think they go the longer route with, I don't want just images of the Joker. I want the movie.
I want
2 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, I think movies nowadays, I think the standard used to be like an hour and a half, an hour 45.
Yeah.
But like now it's like 2 hours, two and a half. Like,
it depends on the movie. Like I'm willing to spend like 3 hours watching a movie because like I love Lord of the Rings, all three. I love the trilogy.
I still need to watch those.
That's like another thing. Those are also some of my favorite movies. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Hobbit. A lot of people, like some people are like iffy about Hobbit, but like I like all of them. Like I love all 6 of those movies, and like all together, like those movies are like 18 hours, give or take.
Oh
and
yeah,
like,
there's a lot. There's a lot to those.
They're all like 3 hours long, and there's like obviously they're both trilogies, and I love like Lord of the Rings is obviously like a nostalgia thing, so like I will place that above The Hobbit any day because like I grew up watching Lord of the Rings because like I think those movies are just as old as me.
I think so. Lord, it's just the constant looking up.
Yeah, because like we don't know the
2001 was the first one.
So the
and
first
2003
movie
was the last one.
So honestly, those movies are like the first one is the same age as me. Same with Shrek. Shrek is the same age as me as well.
Dang. Yeah, like I think. I do prefer a longer movie, which is really nice because I think they do tend to do that. I know Titanic was a long one. Titanic was 195 minutes, which I don't know. I think it was over 3 hours long. I remember the first time I watched Titanic, it was on a VHS. And they were in 2 separate because they were so long. So you get halfway through the movie and it tells you to put in the second tape. It was also the first naked lady I ever seen in a movie. Because it was like
spicy.
But like it was. Remember we watching it when we watched it the first time. You get take out the old one, put the other half of the movie in.
Yep. It's like it.
I just want Avatar was a long one as well.
Yeah.
I know. I think it was Avengers Endgame was like 3 hours or something like that. So there's a lot. Oppenheimer, it was over 3 hours long. And like it felt like it was 3 hours long. Like they really played into like the storytelling aspect of it and took their time with it.
It was a slow burn movie.
It was. Like it was good. I did enjoy it. I genuinely would never watch it again. But like I said, Titanic, we talked about that one. That came out in 1997. That's insane.
I mean,
I wasn't even born yet. Like
I mean, it is an older movie. Everyone raves about that movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie.
King
Kong was over 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours. And
I don't remember it being that.
Yeah.
Well, like I remember you said about this movie.
I enjoy all 3 hours.
Because it was growing up. We used to get. I don't think people do it now because you could just download them online. But like burned discs with full movies on it.
That's illegal.
And I had one, and it was King Kong, and it 100% is illegal if you want to.
Don't do this, kid.
Don't download pay for your movies. It's not that bad.
Plus, they're all bad quality.
But it was I had the full movie of King Kong it was just a plain disc with a white face that had King Kong written by hand just on the edge of it. Yeah. And I watched it. I loved it. That was such a good movie and I just recently watched through it again.
I wish Jack Black didn't play such a butthole character. Cuz I feel like he I love him. But I feel like it kind of made you cringe because you're like, oh yeah. Jack, no.
Everybody loves Jack Black. The Wolf of Wall Street. I've never seen it.
I didn't watch that one either.
I've heard it's good. Avatar 2.
I didn't watch that one.
I watched that in the theaters.
I heard it was awful.
Really?
Yeah. I
heard
a lot of people didn't like it.
I heard the complete opposite.
I heard I liked it. They didn't really like it. I was like,
I don't. It's one of those ones that I know why I went to see it, and it's one of the movies that I would never watch again. But Stephen King had a lot of good, he had a lot of movies or books that were adapted. What was it? Obviously, It.
Yeah.
The Green Mile, The Shining was The Shining was one of them.
There's also a newer movie that came out in 2019.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a sequel to The Shining because it follows.
That's was it Doctor Sleep or something like
Dr.
that?
Sleep.
Because that had freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi in it. Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, he's that's the sequel to it in a way. Storm of the Century.
Thinner, I think, was one of them. That was an old one too. Pet Cemetery was the other one as well.
I like the older one. I like the old one.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Great
yeah,
one.
there was 2019.
1922, the Netflix adaptation. I do like that movie a lot.
I've never seen. I don't trust Netflix movies. Carrie. I know they redid that one.
I do recommend. It's a very good movie. It's kind of like Gerald's Game. I don't know if you've ever seen Gerald's Game.
There's that one right there. I have not seen it, but I
do like both.
I know about it, and I've read about it.
They're both slow burn films. So I don't think they're that they're very short.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King movies. I do like that one a lot. Is Graveyard Shift one of his movies? I think Graveyard Shift. Silver Bullet.
See. The Mist was a Stephen King.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also, really great movie. Really sad, tragic ending. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen it. I have seen that one.
Tragic.
Carrie was the other one.
I didn't really like Carrie.
I never seen it. I just know Thinner. That was the one I was talking about.
Oh yeah, I did see Thinner.
The Shawshank Redemption was it? I don't know if that was a Stephen King movie or book. There's a lot of them. Oh my goodness, Graveyard Shift. You said about that.
Yeah, that one. I also really like Graveyard Shift. It's about men that work in this weird some factory type of thing.
1990. And
so you follow along these characters, and they're told to clean out the basement, and they'll get overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of rats, and a big it's almost a whole system, almost kind of like a cave system, but stuff was built down there, and you go through it, and they're just supposed to be cleaning it out, and they're gonna get all this money for it, and their sleazeball boss is oh yeah, hurry up, da 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 da, and they're getting attacked by rodents, and then you find something sinister down in there with them.
I think I have a list here of movies to watch, and I will definitely add that to my list. But are you what is your favorite genre of movie?
Horror.
Your good horror. Okay.
Horror.
I don't know. I've always been a comedy, an action movie. More preferably a comedy. Growing up, I never liked horror movies growing up.
Do you like Hellboy?
Cowboy?
Hellboy.
Hellboy. Oh, you thought you said cowboy, and I was like,
yeah, cowboy.
You like cow? I swear, I swear you said cowboy.
You ever seen that
Hellboy?
Movie,
Yes,
Cowboy?
the original one I've seen, and I did like that one growing up.
Because
it was one of the ones that it's one of the ones that I remember as a kid watching all the time.
I know it's comic books, but I don't know if it's DC or Marvel.
It's Marvel. I'm pretty sure. I think Hellboy is Marvel, but it was that one.
Now I see how it sounds like cowboy.
Yeah. So it was Hellboy, and then I think it was the 2004.
I know they had a second one, and then they had a reboot.
Yeah, because they had the reboot, and the reboot was David Harbour, which was
it doesn't look like
Hopper from Stranger Things. Oh, never mind. He's an independent comic. He's not Marvel or DC.
Okay, that's what I was like.
But it was the two movies I remember a lot as a kid was Hellboy and Daredevil, the one with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And people hate that movie, and it is not a good movie to say the least at all. But Daredevil is one of like my favorite 2003 when it came out. Daredevil is one of my favorite like Marvel heroes, and I watched this movie religiously as a kid.
I feel like Hellboy is definitely up your alley.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. Once you said, I was so confused when you said cowboy. And
I would have been shocked if you had it on your list because like it's kind of like one of those. It's one
of those ones that I would not have thought about it if you didn't say anything about it.
I watched it recently. That's why I
just put it on there. But not Bellboy. Bellboy.
Cowboy.
But yeah, I think I lean more towards the comedy side. I never really enjoyed horror movies.
I love them.
It's not so much of the aspect of like I don't want to get scared. It's just with a lot of horror movies, it's like it's the same concept, especially nowadays. It's like I don't like a horror movie that 100% relies on a jump scare to make you feel scared.
That's why I like obviously all of my movies are 90s,
are very
80s.
older ones where like they rely more on the suspense, or like the build up to something. Like I can't stand a movie that is constant jump scare at the jump scare because then you get used to it.
That's how The Conjuring was, or Insidious. It's one of those two.
The Conjuring was like that. Like I've seen all three of them, and they very much. I've never seen Insidious.
They're both very.
I know The Conjuring is very jump scare like heavy, and it's I don't enjoy that because you get numb to the jump scare after a while, and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen now? And then it happens, and you're like, oh.
I like gore.
Like the Saw movies.
Yeah, I love the original Saw movies. I own them all.
Those are one of the first R-rated movies I ever watched.
I love those.
My mom was like, "You're gonna watch these movies," and I was like, "Okay." We watched all the Saw movies.
My family hated them because they were like. My family was like, they're not gory enough, and I was like,
they're not. Wow. Did you watch the new one? Saw X.
No, I wanted to. I think
me and Sean went to see it.
I wanted to, but because I was working, and every time I was like, oh, I'm too tired, so I never ended up seeing it. But I definitely want to see it on.
I liked it.
Some
it
platform.
definitely felt like an older Saw movie.
Daz, one of the YouTubers I follow, he actually has a video of him and the guy who plays.
Really?
Yeah, he has, and he does it based on Jigsaw. Like he does like a little comedy skit thing. Good. Yeah, he has there's just them joking around, and it turned into a whole joke, and then he turned it into like a funny skit. And he also Daz also got to be a part of a I Prevail music video.
Oh, really? That's
as
cool.
Well. He does the music video for Gasoline. So not only did he have Toby Bell, Jigsaw himself, but he also was in an
actual music video. That's cool.
A big because he was over in I think it was Brighton, England, and they were touring, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're a fan of you," and he was like, "You're what? You're a fan of me? I'm a fan of you." And they were like, "Hey, do you want to be in our music video?"
That's gonna happen to us one of these days.
21 Pilots, Billie Eilish. I'm calling.
Listen, you were number one on her list, so.
I'd also love to meet Gordon Ramsay.
I'm sorry. Gordon Ramsay was number one on your
I would also love to meet Gordon Ramsay. I'm not a great cook, so I feel like he would teach me a lot of great things. It'd be like Hell's Kitchen.
The gory part of horror, I guess, is really cool to me if they can pull it off correctly. But like I said, I don't go towards the horror just because I don't like a jump scare every 5 seconds. Yeah. I'd rather sit there what's gonna if it feels suspenseful. Have you ever seen A Quiet Place?
No.
Okay, those are really good, and it was one of those movies that was there's no music in this movie. It's just purely just sound, and it was and in those scenes where you knew something was gonna happen, the music or you would just feel suspenseful because it's just pure acting. There's no music or anything to build you into that, and I loved that, and it was super good. They had a second one. I know they're coming out with the third one, I think this year, which is
interesting.
But it was one of my favorites because it was I genuinely felt scared because it was a suspenseful thing.
Yeah.
Which I'd rather that in a horror movie than ooh boo
Yeah.
It gets
cheap
old.
Scare.
It gets old after a while because you get numb to it. You're like, oh, I think it was the screaming with the seat. I think played into that because there was multiple scenes that they would be like, oh, they're gonna shut a cabinet and there's gonna be someone standing behind there.
Yeah,
but it was the music would build up and he would shut the cabinet and nothing there. And like it happened multiple times, and I thought that was really cool because it was like,
Yeah,
yo, because then
that one
you
definitely
didn't know
played into
when
it.
it was gonna happen.
That one played into it, and I feel like the scene where, like, they're in the hospital, and
that was one of my favorite scenes in that movie.
Coming.
Yeah, no, that was like one of my favorite scenes in that movie.
That is like one of my favorite
Rest in
scenes.
peace to Dewey, but
that is one of my favorite scenes because like that is something that you don't see coming because
not
it
at
doesn't
all.
do the music suspense that like all other movies do, and then he, like literally out of nowhere, there comes Ghostface.
I'm pretty sure I like audibly was like, oh,
I think we both did. Both of us were like, what?
Like there's no way they kill him right now. There's no way, and
Yeah, 'cause
they
you thought-
100% did, and it was like, wow.
Yeah, and like that one, I think genuinely shocked both of us because neither of us saw that coming.
It like said the Scream franchise is one of my favorites. I love the Scream movies. Like the first one, I love. They're the ones after that are a little iffy sometimes.
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
Love Matthew Lillard.
The slasher stuff is actually really interesting. I'd never seen like Halloween or Friday the 13th.
I love all of them. I like the original Halloweens. I do like Nightmare on Elm Street isn't one of like my favorites. But I do appreciate the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Friday the 13th. I have all of those. I love the originals.
I know the one I watched was Freddy versus Jason.
That one's all right. And same thing with like Freddy X, Jason X. I think it's Jason X.
It's Jason. Yeah, because Freddy only had 3.
In the future.
Yeah.
And like, I like the idea. Not one of my favorites.
I can't believe they made 10 of those movies.
Oh, yeah, I'm not shocked. Like
same with the Halloween. They made a lot of those as well.
And Rob Zombie has his own adaptation. But I don't know if they really count. Like, I don't know if they're really canon.
No, I know that.
But like he did get
there's
the rights
the original. I know the Rob Zombie ones are on their own separate like timeline.
Yeah.
And then the new reboots are canon to the originals because obviously it's Jamie Lee Curtis and a bunch of the others.
I love the originals that have Jamie Lee in it. I love her. I think she's like she plays such a good character in those movies. I feel like
I have to watch them at some point. I see so much of them that I'm like I know I'll enjoy it, and it's one of those things that I know that I'm gonna like it.
I like the original.
I just don't sit there and.
They're very good.
I don't go for a horror movie if I want to watch a new movie.
I love them. Like another like series is Wrong Turn. I don't know if you've ever heard.
Oh, I know. Yes,
I love those
ones. I watched one of those when I was younger, and it terrified me.
Those ones are very, very.
Those scared me.
There's also like 10 of those. As well.
There's like
7 or something.
Yeah, like I'm looking. Like, you ever seen La La Land?
No, this is gonna be really cringy of me to say. It seemed too mainstream. And I feel like that is something that like just seems like I would say because it is. Like there are a lot of movies I haven't watched that are very La La-esque, like La La Land-esque. Mm-hmm. Like the Barbie movie, refuse to watch it because it's mainstream.
Okay, so I did watch that. I watched it as a watched it to say I watched it type of thing.
I've seen a lot of clips and I love the idea. Like not like the idea. I love the message that they're portraying.
Yeah. And
like especially with was it like the Grammys or whatever? I don't know, but I love the idea that they're like women empowerment, like and all of that, and like the idea of like women are just a pair of boobs, ha 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 ha, and like I love, and I think Margot Robbie did a great job. Same with Greta.
Yeah, I watching it, I understood why it appealed to the audience that it was because what it was made for.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy it, but it also wasn't a movie made for me.
What was it made for, Billie Eilish?
So like like I know it. I wasn't the audience that the movie was aimed towards. So like I didn't feel as like connected to it as I know most people would if they would have felt like that. The parts of the movie that I loved the most were with Ken, like, and it was just because it was a comedy aspect to it, and I liked that. Like I said, don't get me wrong, there was like some good moments in it, and I don't think I'd watch it again. I think I gave it like a 6 out of 10. But, like, I completely understand, like, the audience that they reached to, I get that's where they were wanting to go with it. It just wasn't for me.
I love the message, but, like, I feel like it was already too popular, and I was like, I can't. I can't.
I genuinely just watched it to watch it to say I have because it was like it was on my list and I was like
I probably will eventually get to it, but I feel like it's not like one of my priority movies that I'm like,
yeah. La La Land though, you say it's a mainstream movie.
That one was like a huge movie when it came out. Like everyone was singing all the songs, and that was another. I didn't like the playlist.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I get that.
Also controversial. I like that is like one of the movies I didn't like the playlist to it because like I didn't like Grease. Also a musical. I know it's older, but because you know the Grease playlist.
Yeah.
I like the playlist to Grease. I don't really like the story behind it. Like I think the people that sing in Grease, great voices, love them. But like I feel like if you can't enjoy the playlist for this musical. How are you gonna
enjoy the movie?
Because like with at least Grease, I appreciated like
the music.
I liked the musical part of it. I didn't really like the storyline, and like I get it. It was supposed to be like the whole like greaser and like the pretty little preppy girl
the pink ladies.
Yeah, like the pink ladies and all of that. I understand that. It's just it wasn't something I liked too much, but I love the playlist for it. But like Phantom, love all about that. Like I love the playlist.
No, I get that. I do understand that.
And they overplayed all of the La La songs.
See, I had just recently watched it this past year. It was like August of last year when I watched it, and I loved it. Like it became a really like one of my favorites. Like I loved growing up. I said growing up with it.
I love growing up with it.
I love growing up with it. But no, like I did like it. I understand. Like if you don't like the music, you're not gonna like the movie. I feel like if I
want to,
there's some songs I didn't like, but I think the movie itself kind of held its own away from some of the songs. So I mean, but. Yeah, I understand what you mean by if you don't enjoy the music, you're gonna.
I feel like I'm not. I'm not gonna give it a fair chance. Because that song's gonna come out
and you're gonna be like.
I feel like I'm not gonna give it a fair chance. Like I'm just gonna be like immediately like
hater.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like a -2 stars. Thank you for your time. And like
Napoleon Dynamite's on my list. Have you ever seen that?
Also, too mainstream.
God, are you serious?
Also, too mainstream. I can't really get behind that one.
I guarantee you all of these movies that I'm going to list off, you're going to be like, it was too mainstream. Because every movie that you have given has been such a...
I feel like that type of humor isn't my humor as well.
It's a very stupid humor.
Because whenever I went to high school, we did like occasional talent shows. Like we were supposed to do like talent shows at the end of the year. And one of the kids I went to high school with, he bought the Pedro shirt. And he did the dance.
Oh my gosh.
And you're
like, nope, too mainstream for me.
I love this kid. I love him. He was such a sweetheart. And like me and this man, because he's a man now, me and this man, we would sit on the phone and we would talk. And like he was like one of the sweetest people I've ever met. He's super, super smart. And he is one of the best artists. And I'll show you some of his art after like we're done here. But like he's like one of the best artists I've ever seen in my life. Like he was so great. And and for him, it was funny because like I love him as a person. So like I was okay with him doing the dance. It wasn't like I was like, but like, so like I saw him do the dance and I was like, this does make sense. It's his type of humor. Yeah. Knowing how he is and knowing the people that we do know like mutually.
It definitely has to be your type of humor to get a movie like that. Was it the one Jack Black one, Nacho Libre?
I've seen that one. Not one of my favorite Jack Black films. I feel like
I was gonna say because the humor is same, I feel like that's same concept.
Same idea.
So I was gonna see if you've seen that one.
I have seen that one. I don't really remember it that well because I've seen that movie when I was like super young.
Yeah. What about like Elf?
I do like Elf.
Okay.
It's not one of my favorite Christmas movies, but I do love the movie Elf.
Yeah. I just like Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Like Will Ferrell is one of my favorite actors. Like comedy actors.
I like him in Anchorman as well.
Oh my gosh, Anchorman is such a good movie.
I didn't really like Anchorman 2.
I didn't either.
I feel like that was a bad
The first one was really good.
It was iconic.
I quote stuff from that movie constantly.
Anchorman?
And I love it. Anchorman. I love that. It was like a lot of these movies, well, some of them I watch on my own, but a lot of them, my favorites are ones that I grew up with my mom watching.
Yeah.
So like that. You ever seen Spaceballs?
Oh, I love Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Like I love that movie with all of my heart. I honestly probably would prefer that over an actual Star Wars movie. Like it's so really.
He hates that movie.
I'll talk to him later about that. But like I love Spaceballs because it's so stupid. But
that very much like I feel like there's a fine line of like what my sense of humor is, and that falls into it. I don't know why.
So I think Spaceballs was in that like that parody movie aspect.
It is a
so like
parody.
That's where like I think it was one of the first movies to do that.
Oh, I think so.
Because then you had like I think it was
there's Scary
Epic movie. Scary. Oh my gosh, Scary movie.
Movies.
I grew up with those too.
Epic movie also.
Epic movie, superhero movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I think Date movie was another one. They made like there's a whole series of these, and they're so stupid. But it was that parody thing that was so funny. I forgot about the Scary movie. Like those were
and like they do so many movies because like I think the first one is like Scream and another one they mix them.
They did a couple. I know. The second one was like a haunted house.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I just visualized it. Like, I loved the first two, and the first two were very raunchy movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were, especially for that time, like, I was like 7, 8 years old watching these movies growing up.
And
my mom didn't care.
And they're hysterical.
And I thought they were the funniest thing, because they were.
They are.
And I think they made like 5 of them. The last 2 were a little iffy. I don't think I really enjoyed those because after I think three was PG-13, and they kept that for the rest of it. Like the first 2 were really funny. I haven't seen them in a very long time.
I like the one where it does like the boy and he's like up on the second floor and he goes Subaru,
Hyundai, Toshiba, and they were just listing off just different Asian brands.
I genuinely thought that this was actually like I genuinely thought he was like saying stuff, and I was wow.
I think that was 3 because it was The Grudge. I think that was that movie because it had Charlie Sheen in it.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Wait, that might have been 4, but Charlie Sheen was in the third one.
He played in one of them,
and it had to do with the aliens.
Yeah,
and like
they had they kept.
And there was the one gag. There was the one gag with the officer with the hat, where the hat just kept getting bigger every time it cut to her. There was a Michael Jackson. It was the third one.
I think they brought him in a couple times. I think he was in multiple times. Like, they kept making jokes that he touched.
I want to rewatch those now because I haven't. But like Spaceballs,
amazing movie.
Such a funny movie.
Amazing.
And it was like, I don't know.
Probably revolutionary because they didn't really do.
I think that was probably the first like parody because they parodied Star Wars. The space opera parody.
I love the scene where they're in the diner and they're like, my ragtime doll.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
I love that is like
because it had John Candy in it. Oh.
Which one's John Candy?
He was Barf.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Now I want to rewatch all these movies now, like Back to the Future.
I did not watch that one either.
Okay.
But that also seems like sci-fi that I wouldn't enjoy.
Okay.
Because I do I do appreciate Star Trek and Lost in Space.
I never watched it.
It's never my favorite, but I definitely appreciate it. Because I like Data. I think he's funny. He's like a little alien, or he's like a robot. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
How do you feel about Adam Sandler? Because I had Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison.
I think he's kind of funny. Other people don't.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of like you either like him or you don't. Grown Ups was really funny.
I do appreciate Grown Ups.
Both movies actually. One of the few where like both the original and the sequel were both actually really good.
What is the Diamond movie? Is it like Diamond Cut?
Oh, Uncut Gems.
I love that.
That was a fantastic
and
movie.
A lot of people didn't like that because it wasn't Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler. It was a serious
I love
role.
The fact that it was a serious role for Adam Sandler, and it was just such a good movie.
I appreciated it.
The ending?
Liked it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, caught me off guard completely.
Yeah, I genuinely like that movie.
That was a really good movie, and
I feel like it's a side of Adam Sandler that we've never seen before.
You would have never really expected that because you've only ever seen him in the stupid,
Yeah, and like you at any point in the movie, you're expecting it to take that joke.
That turn. I mean, obviously there was still like jokes in it, but it was different. It was very
comedy.
gritty.
Yeah.
and like very dark.
I watched that movie in the theaters.
Did they play it in theaters?
Yeah.
I thought it was just a Netflix movie.
In all honesty. I saw it with a boyfriend at the time. And I was sitting there and I was like, why do you want to watch this movie? He's like, oh, it's got Adam Sandler in it. And I was like,
it's got Adam Sandler in it.
I was like, okay, whatever. And I did not know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know this was a serious role. And I was like, this is really weird. And I was like, it's going to turn into a comedy, right? And he went, I don't think so. And then the end, I went, oh.
Yeah, like I knew it wasn't a comedy, but I'd rather not go. I'd rather go into a movie completely blind.
I did.
And not be spoiled by something, because that'll just ruin it for me. I am a baby when it comes to things, and I didn't always used to be like that. I used to be very much like I didn't cry for anything. Like I grew up around like with my family passing away a lot, and I wasn't very emotional with it. And it wasn't how I just didn't do it. And it wasn't until like I had moved here and I had a friend of mine that when I started going to my youth group, we kind of bonded a little bit. He was a little older than me. I think I was 20. He was like 22, 23 at the time. And he passed away. And I just started to get to know him. And that was like the first time I had ever like truly had felt that kind of like pain. Because it was someone I had just started to get to know and everything, and passed away. And it was like, it hurt. Because that was the first time I'd ever like in public was crying.
Yeah, it's always hard.
And it was really hard because I'd never done that before. So I'm sitting there like, what is going on? Like, I've never felt this way before. When my family passed away, I was really young. I was 5, 6 years old. You don't understand it at that point. So like once I got older, and like that was like after that, like I'm a baby when it comes to things now. So like once that I had that one cry, and then it was just game over. It basically, yeah. So like I get really attached to characters in movies.
Yeah.
And so like, or in TV shows. Like I think the most I've cried at a TV show, How I Met Your Mother. I have cried so much at that show. Like I
don't think anything in that movie, that show that ever made me cry.
I don't know. The whole aspect of it just like got me so much. What about a B movie?
I love the B movie. I love B movie.
Robots?
Wait, what?
Robots?
I do like that movie.
We'll go back to B movie though.
I've watched that movie every day for like a couple months at one point.
I have.
Is that the whole?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's the entire script of the B movie. Fun fact about this. This was years ago. This was 2018. I feel
like it's not that long. But I feel like that's not super long. You know what I mean?
It doesn't seem that long. But this was 2018 when I saved it. My phone, I had an iPhone 5. And at this point, it's been obsolete for like 6 years. Like, it was an old phone. And my friend texted it to me and crashed my phone. The moment the text, I saw the text came on, and my phone immediately shut down. And I finally got it. Like, it took forever to get it turned back on. And I had to like turn the phone back on and then go in and delete the whole message thread. Because I wasn't able, because the phone was running so slow.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I had to delete the whole message thread to do it. And it became a threat for a while that if I were to, say something stupid, she goes, I will send it. I'll send it again. And then I got a new phone, so it was like, it wouldn't be a threat anymore. But yeah, I have that in the back of my notes since October 17th, 2018.
That's so funny.
Because it crashed my iPhone at the time. But it is. I love it. It's one of those movies that I can watch anytime. I don't really care. It could be anytime.
Yeah.
You ever seen American Psycho?
I recently watched this movie.
Okay,
last year.
I thought you were gonna pull up another mainstream comment. I was gonna.
I did. I held this stance. I held this stance for such a long time, but I watched this movie last year, and when I tell you, this movie had me clutching my pearls, not for the reasons you think. So, obviously, Patrick Bateman, main character of the movie. He acted like my high school ex.
Oh.
Everything that he said gave me, like, and, like, the things and the way that he would act. It was literally, like, watching, like, my life. I was just like, oh, my God.
I can see how that can have you, like.
And, like, at the time, he wanted to be, I don't know what he's doing now, because obviously we haven't been in contact for many years, but he wanted to be a finance major, which is obviously.
Oh my God.
So watching Patrick Bateman, and like obviously, and like I wouldn't even be shocked if he took this movie and was like, yes, this is
what I'm basing my life off of.
This is my personality. This is my personality. And like, this is no hate towards him. But like when I watched it, I sat there dumbfounded, and I was like, oh my, and like, I do like the movie. I do appreciate it. But like watching that movie, just like, it kind of just like, it just head empty, no thoughts. I'm just like, oh my God, this is, and it's crazy because like he acted very much like, obviously he didn't kill people, but like,
I sure hope that it stops there.
Like the beginning parts of the movie where he's like introducing himself and he's talking about himself, it very much like, it's like, especially the first couple minutes, it very much was like, oh my God, this is terrifying.
I've seen this before.
Yeah, and I was sitting there like, this is deja vu, and it was kind of like, it was like, I don't know how else to phrase it other than dumbfounding, because I was just like, oh my God. And like there was one point I sat up, like hunched over looking at the TV, like,
am I seeing this?
And
this
I was
real?
like, if you just copy and paste my high school sweetheart, not so sweetheart, right over this is my life, especially the scene where they're in the diner, and I was like, this is something he would have done to me. Mm-hmm. If our relationship like got to that point where like we were older and potentially got engaged or whatever, I was like, I could see this. I could see him being like, you're a low class woman. Not saying it's wrong, but I'm not disagreeing with this point, but just like we can't be together.
That was one movie that like messed with me, because like I've only watched it once, and I think I watched it last year, the year before. It was the first time
So we watched it around the same time.
Probably, yeah. I think it already was around the same time, but like I really didn't know much about it. Obviously, there's very iconic scenes from that, like the whole Huey Lewis in the News thing where he kills the guy with the axe was a very like, everybody's seen that, and like
some videotapes.
I gotta return some videotapes.
That line I think is
or
so
just
funny.
like there's a lot of memes that come from that too. Like just so I've seen it, but I didn't really know anything about the movie. But like at the end of it, I was like, what was real and what wasn't real in this movie?
There are like so many like ideas.
Then
behind
it had Willem Dafoe in it too, and he didn't really.
Willem Dafoe.
Gosh, that was like and there was one part that I'd heard or that I'd read about was that scene between him and Christian Bale, like where they're talking, like discussing stuff about what happened that night. They did 3 different cuts of 2 or 3 different cuts. One where Willem Dafoe knew it was him that killed him.
Oh.
One where he had no clue. And then one, there was like, I think there was a third one, but they used all 3 of them and they cut them in between that movie in that one conversation.
Oh.
So like leaving it for us watching it, not knowing what, if he knows that he killed him or not, or if he did, because they used all 3 of those scenes and they cut them all together in the one conversation. So when it would, anytime it cut back, it was never the same thing. So there was no way
that makes sense.
So there was no way to read if like he knew or not.
Yeah.
So like reading that, I was like, that's actually really cool. Like
that is.
It was a really cool movie because like I didn't know I was so confused after watching it. I'm like, what did I watch that was real and what wasn't real? Like,
speaking of Willem Dafoe, I feel like you'll appreciate this. Do you remember the one episode where Ted meets Willem Dafoe and he's in the elevator and he's like, Willem Dafoe's name sounds like you're talking to a bird and a frog.
Willem Dafoe.
And I feel like you'd be the one to appreciate that joke, 'cause I quote that all the time.
It's so bad because nobody
of him.
nobody that I've watched has watched that show. Or nobody I've known that's watched that show. You're the first person I have talked to that has actually seen the show.
I quote this.
I've known you for how long, and I've never known that you've seen that show.
I've watched almost every single episode.
Wow, that's.
And I, in particular,
pop my head off.
That scene in the elevator where he's telling Willem Dafoe to his face.
That's so funny.
And like I quote this frequently. I'm like, Willem Dafoe, Willem Dafoe. And I do that all the time.
Wow. This is so weird because like I said, I have never met anybody that I've talked to that's actually watched the show.
Also Scooby-Doo, obviously I love
everybody loves Scooby-Doo.
I love the 70s one.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like 70s, but I like the original.
It's not Matthew Lillard.
I do like the movies.
Oh my gosh, the
Scooby-Doo
movies are fantastic.
And I feel like Matthew Lillard plays such a great Shaggy.
Oh my gosh, he did so well with it. I love it. What is it? Scooby-Doo and then Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Those are both, they're just so. Did you know that the original Scooby-Doo was supposed to be rated R?
Really?
The original cut, the original script for the first Scooby-Doo was supposed to be an R-rated film.
I wonder how.
I can't remember. They're
gonna do some real serial killings.
I think it was supposed to be more on the raunchy side.
Oh.
I think that was what the original. I think that's what it was supposed to be. So in 2017, the 15th anniversary of the film, James Gunn, the film screenwriter, revealed in a Facebook post that there was an R-rated cut of Scooby-Doo, and that CGI was used to remove cleavage of the female cast members.
That's probably all the reason it was.
But I'm sure there probably was
in the leather outfit.
Oh my, that was in Scooby-Doo too, dude. Don't get me started. Oh my. That was 2002 when that movie came out.
Yeah.
It's still such a good movie though. I wonder what the consensus was for 32% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Only a 32?
And the audience gave it a 40.
I need to talk to all these people.
I find it really hard to not like a movie. Like I cannot stand going to a movie with someone that will nitpick every single thing. And I'm like, I find it very hard to find something in a movie I don't like. Like if I can watch a movie and enjoy at least 75% of the movie, that other 25 I'll forget about.
Yeah.
So I know there's movies that I've watched that maybe there was something I didn't like in it, but if I at least enjoyed the majority of the movie, I count it as a good movie. I find it very hard to be like, I didn't like that movie. I know there's probably some out there that I don't like and I said I haven't liked, but there's a reason I can't remember them because I didn't like them enough to remember the movie. So I will 99.9% of the time I'll enjoy a movie that I go to see because
if I don't think I'll like the movie, I won't watch it because I don't want to completely trash on a movie because obviously it took a lot of time, a lot of money, and there are some movies that are supposed to be cheesy and bad acting, but obviously people tried, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just I liked Cocaine Bear. A lot of people don't like Cocaine Bear.
That was such a good movie. I love that movie.
That is
we went opening night and watched that movie.
I think I went a week after it showed, but I love Cocaine Bear and and I don't think it's not even an American movie. I don't think. I think it was.
It was an American movie.
Was it? Mm-hmm. I thought was it just bad accents then?
I think that was kind of the point.
Oh, okay. But I genuinely love Cocaine Bear. I think that's a masterpiece in my opinion.
That was Ray Liotta's last film.
I love that.
That was his last film he ever filmed, and then he died. And it was Cocaine Bear. He didn't get to see it.
Oh, that's tragic.
I think he the main bad guy in that movie. That was his last film. Cocaine Bear was in fact a masterpiece of a movie.
I love that movie. I saw it in the theaters. I think
it was stupid, but it was really funny. And the premise, it was based off an actual thing. Obviously, real story. The bear got a hold of the cocaine, ate so much cocaine it died, like almost instantly.
Yeah.
Like when they did an autopsy on the bear, like the bear's stomach was completely filled with cocaine.
That's nuts.
So obviously the bear didn't actually go on a rampage and, kill all these people, but it was just so funny that they said, you know what? This real bear that ate cocaine, let's make this into a movie. And they made it into a really funny movie. That was really good.
I love that
I bought
movie.
it. That was one of the movies that I have, and I will stand by it.
Understandable. And this is something, this is a hill I will die on. Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
I will die on that hill.
Yeah. No. You have any other thoughts? You think Cocaine Bear's bad? You're wrong.
Yeah, for real. Like,
you can leave.
Yeah. I don't agree with your opinion.
Your opinion no longer matters. But yeah, like I find it very hard to not like a movie. Like I said, as long as I enjoy the majority of it.
I don't like modern.
Yeah. Not every movie. There's no movie that's perfect.
Yeah.
Like
Cocaine Bear is.
Cocaine Bear. Other than that,
come on.
Every movie has its flaws.
Cocaine Bear doesn't.
We're not talking about Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear is top of the list. Perfect.
S-tier.
100%. S-tier plus.
Yes.
But like every movie has its flaws, so like it's that. But I can't physically think of a movie that I didn't enjoy watching. Like I said, I'm sure there is one out there.
I said there's a couple I just can't place a name on it because I'm just like
I forget about it. I'm like I don't want it in my head anymore. Like,
but I think my problem is I like the older movies a lot.
From what I've gathered in our conversation, you were more on the
I very much appreciate
spectrum.
I appreciate the 80s a lot because I feel like that's a lot of my movies come from.
I love the 80s for the movies that came out because there was a lot of good ones.
Coraline.
I didn't like that movie.
Really? How?
That's one movie I can think of. I didn't like it.
I love that movie. I grew up with that movie.
I don't know why. It's just I can't give an honest answer because I don't know why I didn't like it. I
love that movie.
I've seen it once and it just wasn't for me. So like
it's a great movie.
I don't know.
Same with The Corpse Bride. I love Corpse Bride.
Oh.
I think it's made by
I've seen that one. Or I know of it. I think it's that whole like stop motion style.
I love that style.
Like there's some that are done. One I know I didn't like was A Nightmare Before Christmas.
I didn't really like that one either. I do appreciate it, but it's not my favorite. I
was doing a Christmas movie marathon last year.
Yeah.
And that was on the list because it was a Christmas movie. And
everyone loves that movie.
I didn't get the appeal. Like it just wasn't.
It's all right.
It was weird. It was a weird movie.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. But a lot of people love that's like a to die for movie for a lot of people. And I appreciate it, but it's definitely not like my favorite movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's The Corpse Bride. Beetlejuice. How could you forget?
I love Beetlejuice too. That's such a great movie.
We just talked about that too. That they're making a second one.
Yeah, I love the original.
Paranorman. Okay, these are Edward Scissorhands.
I don't think I've ever really watched it. I didn't really like it.
That was one that I grew up with as well.
Up.
Johnny
so
Depp.
Sad.
Oh. See, I didn't put any.
Mars Attack.
I was
movie.
really hoping you were looking at that one because I love that movie so much. Oh my goodness. Me and Sean watched that when we were on vacation because I wanted to rewatch it again. I love it so much. I love the fact that their weakness is Tom Jones. Like it was just such a
I love that movie.
Oh my goodness. It's such a stupid movie. Jack Black was in that movie.
Oh yeah, he was.
He just gets killed.
Yeah.
But fantastic movie.
I love Monster House too.
Oh my gosh. I have seen Monster House
That's another movie Sagan hates.
Once again, I'll mention that one when I talk about what was the other one? Oh shoot, what was the other one?
Oh, I forget.
He's lucky I forgot. But my brother and my sister loved it. And we had it. One of the movies they burned out the DVD because they watched it so much. But like I loved it. It's just it was done so well.
Young Frankenstein, also phenomenal movie. I love that movie.
But yeah, like I didn't include any like Disney movies and I didn't include any Marvel movies because I like all of them for the most part, and I feel like that would have been the majority of my list if I would have, mentioned all of them.
I like, obviously I'm not too huge into Marvel and DC.
That was another reason why I didn't do it, because I knew that wasn't like,
it's not up my alley.
it wasn't your thing.
Disney, there are some movies I like Ratatouille. I think they recently just had the rights bought to it. I don't know if it was actually Disney or if it was like Pixar. I can't remember.
It's Disney Pixar, yeah.
Yeah, so I love Ratatouille. Love Ratatouille. I think that's a great movie.
My shirt was Lily
Hen.
Oh,
I love
Chicken Run, and they're making a second. They made
that
a
one already came
sequel.
out,
Did
yeah.
it? Chicken Little.
I don't know. I rewatched it and it's not as like great as I thought it was, and that really made me sad. I don't know if it's just because like I was sad or that is very possible.
It's possible. Chicken Run.
But I love Chicken
That's
Run.
not. I want a Chicken Run movie.
Why is it just a cage?
Wallace and Gromit. Flushed Away.
I like Ants. I love Ants.
I've never seen that.
I love Ants. El Dorado is such a good movie as well.
The Road to El. Yes, I just recently watched that as well.
Over the Hedge is such a good movie too.
That was one that I see. These are ones that I didn't put on my list because I wasn't sure we were going to get into that.
I love Over the Hedge.
Over the Hedge, fantastic. Obviously,
I love Shrek.
I've only ever seen the first one.
I've seen all of them.
I've never seen.
But the other ones are kind of, honestly, they're not that memorable, in my opinion.
And I know, like, scenes from the movies, but, like, do the roar.
If I ever have a son,
Do the roar.
there's a scene where it's Lord Farquaad ripping the legs off of the gingerbread man.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
And he says,
The Muffin Man!
and he goes, Thelonious. So if I ever have a son,
Your son's
he's
name is
rolling up with the
Thelonious.
name Thelonious because of Shrek.
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man.
Well, she's married to the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! It's so good.
Not the gumdrop buttons.
Oh. I feel like we can sit here for another hour talking about. I didn't realize that the movie was going to be such a big topic for us to talk about. But we've been talking for 2 hours and
Oh my
15
God,
minutes. I feel like we can probably cut it off there. Like,
There are so many movies I love.
we can go
Like,
on for.
I feel like
we'll do a part 2.
shows, there aren't many I genuinely enjoy that much.
That's why, like, I touched on the shows at the beginning because I
Yeah.
feel like we wouldn't have gone too far into that. But yeah, there's just so many movies. Maybe we'll get somebody else on and get some other opinions on movies. It's interesting to see that was why I wanted to talk about movies, to see the difference between the two of us.
Obviously,
Because
I have
we're
taste.
very similar in a lot of things, but I know like when it comes to media, we're different.
Well, I grew up with a lot of I grew up with horror movies.
Yeah,
Like
and I
that is
didn't.
the main thing I grew up with.
I feel like it was interesting to see like the difference between what you watched and what I watched.
prefer
and everything.
older media.
I mean, I do understand that, but like I find myself watching newer stuff more than I find myself watching older stuff. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever you do. Let us know what else you want to talk about, because I sit here and I'm like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like,
Well, we saw the pet peeves, the tattoos and stuff.
yeah, we have a lot. Maybe there's something they want to listen to. Let us know. I know it's so funny because Piper listens to every episode, and Piper gives a rating every episode.
That's
And
funny.
she's given the first 2 are 9 out of 10. She said the first one needs to be funnier. The second one was only half hour. She goes 9 out of 10. It just needs to be longer.
Yeah.
And then the last one was a 10 out of 10. She said we're doing great. So
Really, the conspiracy theory one?
Yeah.
I'm very shocked because I feel like that one was the one I was kind of very like.
Robert loved it.
I was very shocked because I feel like we were kind of just like obviously you cut out a lot of the parts where we were just looking through.
We did not do our research for that
we
one
did not.
one bit, but like, and it's so funny because like it's cool to get on. I've told Piper to be like, I know Piper's a very honest person, so like when she says it's a 9, when she says it's a 9 out of 10, I take that as like the highest compliment because
Honestly.
I'm like that's we must be doing something right here. I guess if Piper is giving it that high of a score, so. Yeah, so I know that she's a listener every time it comes out. I know at least Robert, Piper, Austin listen to it every time. So, which is really cool. So,
I've watched the final product too as well.
thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one, which whenever that is.